So let me. So we'll be. So good morning, everyone. It's good afternoon from India, and good morning from Nigeria, right? So we have a special guest today. It's episode 2 of Tuesday question answer session, right? And we have Fatima with us, who is a biotechnologist. Probably I'll let Fatima introduce herself first. Yeah.
Okay, so good morning from Nigeria. Just like he already mentioned, I'm Fatima. I'm a microbiologist, actually. Also, I'm trying to navigate into the biotechnology sector, actually, and I'm also a program manager.
Okay, great. So great to have you. So we'll be today, I think, Ridhima, what all topics we have to discuss today?
Okay, so hello everyone. We have 3 questions today we'll be discussing. So whenever you say, let's start them.
Yeah, we should start them. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one we have is a customer wants to know, like a person wants to know, I want to get off the allopathic medicine for my arthritis. Is it possible? Can arthritis be reversed? Seeing my present report, what one thing will you suggest to add or remove from my diet immediately?
Okay. Okay. So how it will go for everyone is I'll be expressing my views on this, and then probably Fatima would also share her views. So it would be more like a discussion today, right? So essentially, arthritis is a immune mediated disease, right? And it's mostly linked to intestinal barrier dysfunction, right? So again, there's a lot of role of microbiome living inside our body, 2 places in the gut and oral, where it is responsible for developing of arthritis. Again, in a situation of leaky gut, what generally happens is these microbes from gut translocate to different places, and they activate certain immune cells like T cells and B cells, right, which are overactivated, and they start doing inflammation in the joints and bones, and that's how we have also destroys bone tissues, right? And then they further leads to production of certain pro-inflammatory cytokines, which such as IL-6, IL-1, TNF alpha, right? And these cytokines actually lead to destruction of bone tissues, and that's how it arthritis develops, right? But yeah, so in terms of diet, I really can't comment, because for every individual, the situation of leaky gut, or the cause of development of leaky gut or internal permeability is different, right? But what I can say is avoid a lot of sugar from your diet, avoid a lot of processed foods from your diet, right? These are the 2 things which I would recommend. Don't eat too much of protein, and uh, probably if you are immune suppressants, then if you are on immune suppressant, probably it will further create more problems. So what is your take on this, Fatima?
For me, I would say, the main component of arthritis, I would say, is inflammation, right? So I would say the person should cut down on foods that cause inflammation. And also we can have issues of excess sodium, which can also lead to inflammation. So whoever the person asking the question can also like try to reduce sodium intake. You understand? And also, just like you mentioned, processed food. I'll also go with alcoholic beverages. Cut down on your alcoholic consumption too. I would also go you can cut down the tree white. And in my opinion, the tree white are like white rice, sugar, and oil. You can, instead of white rice, you can go with brown rice.
Yeah.
Instead of sugars, you can alternate, you understand. And also I would say in arthritis, you don't always wait for it to happen before you start to treat it. You can start from now. I'm sorry to digress, but you can like start from now to like
That's it.
prevent arthritis. I would say exercising regularly too can help. But I know in this question we're mainly focused on when it has already happened, when the person already has arthritis here. And just like I mentioned, try to reduce things that can cause inflammation. And I would also advise that you also take foods that are rich in vitamin D, because vitamin D has been shown to improve bone health. You
Yeah, yeah.
understand? So I would say if you can't get foods that are rich in vitamin D, obviously vitamin D3 is gotten from the sun. You can spend more time out in the sun. But if you are the likes to spend time in the sun, right? So you can supplement, you can take the vitamin D3 supplement, or you can get it from foods like salmon, fish, and or flaxseed, yeah. And or you can just try to improve your diet and all. And we all know that the microbiome works with what we eat, right?
Yeah.
So when you eat right, obviously your the microbial diversity, they are happy, they are all balanced and all. So
Yeah.
that's my take on this.
So I'll just add to your thought, right? So as you mentioned about vitamin D, so again, another anti-inflammatory metabolite which is released by a microbiome, which is bitrate, again a short chain fatty acid, which is said to suppress the inflammation, which is triggering arthritis, right? And also, the absorption of vitamin D is depending upon a lot of bitrate producing bacteria like bifidobacterium and physiobacterium potency. So there are a lot of these bacteria which actually increase the absorption of vitamin D, right? So to just sum up, in terms of our discussion, what we had is it's more on avoiding taking out this food which do not have fiber, the processed foods, the sugar, the alcoholic beverages, right? All those which have added sugar and and preservatives and gluten and a lot of these things, right? Focus more on a fiber rich diet and on more on uh probably it is more to understand what is causing inflammation, right? These are general interventions which me and Fatima and Ridhima has shared with you. But again, you really need to understand what specific food or what specific molecule is causing inflammation, right? And in case you want to know more, probably you can write to us, right, directly, and we'll leave our email in the discussion box, right, in the description box, right, and you can reach out to us if you have any further questions. Yeah. So Ridhima, next question.
Okay, so the next one goes, does gut microbiome causes cardiovascular diseases?
Okay. So this is again a very important aspect, because a lot of cardiologists, generally connect with consumption of red meat, and they generally check triglycerides, and so what we have found is there are certain metabolites released by a microbiome. So essentially, if you see, a lot of food which we eat is in combination of multiple molecules or chemicals, and these chemicals, when they enter the gut, so probably these gut microbiome may be regarded as chemical factory, right? So they actually metabolize these chemicals and produce some byproducts, and these byproducts can be good and bad, right? And in case of cardiovascular disease, it has found there are again 4 metabolites which impact the development of cardiovascular disease. One is again lipopolysaccharide, which comes from consumption of high saturated fat and high sugar, right, which again triggers inflammation, right? Again, these are done by certain specific bacteria like proteobacteria and these gram-negative bacteria, which actually feed in a lot of red meat and sugar and saturated fat, and a lot of animal protein, right? Uh, Second is trimethylene oxide, which is again an end product of consumption of choline, right? So we can talk of choline as a lot of pulses, again eggs, certain nuts and seeds, peanuts, number of foods which are high in choline, right? And these choline is converted into TMA, which is again, which passes through a bloodstream, go to our liver, and where it is converted into TMAO, right? And TMAO is something which causes plague in arteries, right? So that is the second pro-inflammatory molecule. Third is PAG, what we call is phenylacetylglutamine, right? Again, it is due to other high consumption of protein foods, high protein diet, or maybe if you don't have the right set of enzymes to metabolize a lot of protein. So this proteins passes small intestine through small intestine and digestion goes to large intestine, where a lot of these bacteria start fermenting protein and releasing, PAG, and which is again said to cause, cardiovascular diseases, right? And in fact, if you see, there are a lot of now, I'm not sure whether it's in India or not, but there are a lot of, so doctors should check TMAO level in the blood, right? Which indicates whether you're moving away or towards, cardiovascular disease. Fourth is, again, as we discussed in the last question, is, the production of anti-inflammatory metabolite, which is bitrate. Again, bitrate is, is beneficial for, for people who have a higher risk of heart attack and cardiovascular diseases, right? So these are four such, metabolites which help you determine whether you are moving away or towards heart disease. So Fatima, how is the situation there in Nigeria? How does what is the rate of cardiovascular disease there? Fatima, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my network was a bit shaky. So to get your question clearly, you're asking like about the state of cardiovascular health in Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say over here in Nigeria, it's alarming. It's alarming. You see most individuals between the age of, I would say it has gone up to 40 and downwards. Most of them suffer from different cardiovascular diseases, which ranges from stroke to atherosclerosis, and you can mention it and all. In Nigeria, and I think it mostly has to do with our diet, because over here in Nigeria, we eat more of starchy foods. Our foods comprises of rice, yam, just carbohydrates basically, which when we take it's converted to sugar and all of that. Our foods are mostly oily, because we often cook with oil, vegetable oils, palm oils, and all. So these foods we take plays a significant role in state of cardiovascular health here in Nigeria. And I would say another thing is negligence. Negligence both on the side of the individuals and the health practitioners too, because people do not pay attention to things like their BMI, their body mass index, high blood pressure, their sugar, their blood sugar level, and all of that. Over here, they do not really pay attention to that. So you just see people go about their daily activities, just go about. They don't really pay attention to this, because you obviously need to check this as regularly. You need to check what you eat. You need to exercise often. And over here in Africa, as you know, being overweight can be seen as a sign of good living. Actually, when you're overweight in Nigeria particularly, it seems that you're living well and all of that. So we also do not pay so much attention to exercising over here in Nigeria, I would say. So we need to pay more attention to these things so as to reduce the rise of cardiovascular diseases.
Are the folks there resorting to microbiome analysis to understand their current situation, or is just a standard diagnostic test what they are doing?
Talking about diagnostic tests, we don't really do so much of that here, actually. And even the microbiome is not well studied or paid attention to here. If I got your question correctly, right? It's not so much attention is not paid in that aspect. You understand? When you go to a hospital, the first thing they would ask you for is just probably to check your blood pressure and all of that, without paying God's diversity and all. No, we don't really look at those things there.
Okay. Understood. Okay, thanks. Ridhima, last question.
Okay, so the last one is, what are the ways we can relieve constipation and regulate bowel movements?
Okay, so again, constipation is mostly obviously linked to activities of gut microbiome, right? When we are on too much of high protein diet, which is again, whether it's animal protein or plant-based protein, a high protein is a disaster, right? And specifically certain, there are again certain molecules like methionine, methane, again eggs and lot of pulses, and even chicken, and there are a lot of other foods which are high in methane, and methane triggers, it slows down our food motility, triggers a high constipation. So if your bowel movements are like once in 2 days, once in 3 days, or even once in a day, right, which is again a indication of high level of constipation, right? Second is again ammonia. Again, ammonia is certain proteins like arginine, right, histidine, and even nitrate. Again, nitrate is not only about protein, but also there are a lot of preservative foods which have nitrate, because of the packaged foods which we buy from supermarkets. It's just to increase the shelf life. There's a lot of nitrates in these molecules which triggers ammonia production. Again, this is one of the reason why you have you know uh, irregular bowel movements and very less bowel movements. And third is again purestine. Again, polyamines is found in a lot of pulses, like green gram, black gram, right? All these pulses are there, and kidney beans, uh, chickpeas, right? All these have polyamines, and again, polyamines slows down your bowel movements again. So again, a lot of these factors are also connected with onset and progression of cancer, like polyamines is connected with with the development of colon cancer as well, right? So you should have a mix of foods. You should have protein, but not that much, right? uh have a lot of fiber, like resistant starch, inulin, a lot of these foods, a lot of vegetables, prefer having fruits in solid form, in whole foods form, right? Do not have juices, right? And then have proper sleep, at least keep some sort of gap in your sleep and last meal, right? That's a couple of hacks where you can regularize your bowel movement. Yeah. So Fatima, what do you think about this?
Okay, my opinion, I would say, just like you already attested to, the microbiome plays a huge role in constipation. And I would focus on lactobacilli. Lactobacilli, for instance, produces tryptamine, which helps to transport food up through the digestive tract and all. So there are certain things that do not go well with lactobacilli. But before I mention that, I would say when little tryptamine is produced, it leads to build up. And when there's a build up, it leads to constipation. You can't pass through regularly. Another thing I'll mention is the transit time, which is the time that the food takes to travel through the digestive tract. And when the transit time is slow, it leads to hard stool. You understand? So when your stool is hard, obviously you can't pass it out easily. And I would also like to go back to the point I made earlier about some foods going well with lactobacilli. Lactobacilli does not do well with salt. So when your salt intake is high, you have, obviously, you are not giving room to the lactobacilli to thrive, which leads to reduced production of tryptamine. Another thing that does not do well with lactobacilli is junk foods. When you take so much junk foods, it reduces the amount of lactobacilli, and also which leads to less levels of tryptamine. But foods, you already mentioned fiber. Lactobacilli thrives well with fiber, and foods that are rich in fiber, we have dried fruits, apples, berry vegetables, just like you also mentioned, legumes, beans, lentils.
Hmm.
We also have there's this other fruit that we take that's also very rich in. Okay, I already mentioned beans, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that I would also say, there are sometimes when you might not take enough foods that have fiber in them. So I'm a big advocate of taking supplements. You can supplement with psyllium pulse, right? You can take psyllium pulse, which is very rich in fiber, which is fiber itself, and which will help you to like pass your stool regularly. Another point I would like to make is you staying hydrated. You staying I can't I cannot overemphasize on this. You need to stay hydrated, obviously, to be able to pass your stool regularly, and also just keeping the microbiome well balanced, because when one is dominant over the other, it leads to problems, right? So when you keep these things balanced, it leads to, like, you are able to get rid of constipation and all, and obviously you live healthily, because when everything is built up there, like you're not using the toilet frequently and or you get symptoms like abdominal discomfort, bloating and all. So I would just say keep everything balanced, try to eat healthy, take fiber rich foods and all.
Okay, so I'll just add here, since you mentioned about the the lactobacillus. A lot of us may not know that the absorption of iron, which is again linked to when you have a lot of methane activities and methane producing bacteria, which is triggering high methane production, which is leading to constipation and slow food motility. A lot of it, reduces your absorption of iron from various fruits and vegetables specifically, right, like spinach, right, and that's how a reason why we have a low hemoglobin level and a high risk of anemia, right? But lactobacillus, what it does, it actually improves the absorption of iron, right? So if folks who have iron deficiency, hemoglobin levels are low, do not go for all these supplements. Just start having some sort of yogurt, right, in your nutrition. It will increase your lactobacillus fermentum, which is required for absorption of iron, right, and you will certainly see the improvement in your hemoglobin levels and in your iron availability levels, iron levels. So your iron deficiency maybe go away, right? So these are few hacks, right? So I think that's we have today we have these three discussions which were really important, right? We had on arthritis, how the leaky gut leads to arthritis. Second was the cardiovascular aspect, where we discuss about the microbiome, role of microbiome in the cardiovascular disease, and how even we discussed about how the current practice in Nigeria is actually managing the heart diseases, right? And then we also discuss about the constipation, right? So we'll please keep in pouring your questions. We'll be doing 3 questions every week. Next Tuesday we'll be doing another 3 questions, right? And we'll be happy to answer your questions, whatever you have. And it's all free pro bono from our side. There's nothing, we're not charging anything for any of these sessions, right? So Ridhima, you want to add something here before we sign off?
Okay, so thank you, Fatima, for joining us and for the very much valuable discussion we had. I'm very thankful for your time. Secondly, all of you who actually found this, informative, please reach out to us. Let us know where we can help you. You can, tell us in our comments on YouTube, DM us on Instagram, or go to our Facebook page, or even just type Gene Fretletics on Google and you'll get our website. You can reach out to us and we'll help you the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ridhima. Thank you, Fatima. It was great meeting you here.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you.